Yeah, so this will be a little bit of a more. This is gonna be a more different video than what we usually post in our YouTube channel. You know, usually our videos are more about vlogs and whatever travels or whatever adventures we go on, or maybe the last video I posted was a podcast of me of what I journaled. And so this will be a totally different video. And yeah, it's a heavy topic, you know. It's okay. So if you guys didn't know, if you this is like such a I wanted to make a video about this because I feel like when I get it out of my head or out of my chest, I will feel so much better. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, uh, yeah, long story short, me and my wife Olivia, now my ex-wife Olivia, we got a divorce quite recently. I don't think I've talked about her much at all, or yeah, in our YouTube channel. But yeah, I met her on Reddit actually. Funny enough, we met on Reddit. We were talking. I was in a subreddit called. It was a subreddit about ChatGPT because I was having problems with how ChatGPT was working and I wanted more advice. Okay, so yeah, I think it was last last year when I went on that subreddit and we met. We started talking on Reddit. I liked one of her posts, and she liked what I replied back to her post. And this is such a heavy thing for me to even look back on and talk about because it's bringing back so many memories. But just to keep you guys in up to pace, yeah, we basically met on Reddit, and then our very first day was actually so beautiful. We we went to a therapist together for our first date. Funny enough, it's a I wouldn't say not many people do it, and it's honestly one of my best first dates ever. We went to a therapist, and then we pretended to be couples because we thought it was gonna be funny, and it was funny. And but we got caught by the therapist because who knows? Because therapists therapists are actually smart as fuck. So they caught up to what we're doing, and we basically got kicked out. And it was so amazing. And then after we got kicked out, we were just sitting in front of the lake, and we were talking nonstop about Hamilton. We were singing. We were talking about memes about Hamilton, and it was just such a beautiful time. It was fantastic, one of my best dates, and yeah, it was a beautiful date. It was a very beautiful date. Uh, she's a wonderful woman. She plays the violin. She actually met Barack Obama when she was a little kid because uh, she was known as like a child prodigy. But the thing is, But the thing is, she doesn't play violin like how everybody else does. She uses her feet, not because she doesn't have arms, okay? She just because when she was growing up, uh, she just yeah, she would always have gloves on for some reason. I don't know, maybe because she was born in Finland and it was really cold, so she got used to not using her hands for playing the violin. So I think that's why she met Barack Obama. Uh, Everyone was impressed because she had arms and fingers, but she played the violin with her feet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is a yeah. But the relationship was beautiful. Okay, we got married in Italy. It was fantastic. It was a small wedding. No one actually knew about it, but we had the band playing, and we were just in front of the beach. And when we were saying our vows together, there were actually, I remember so vividly, a flock of birds fly flying over us, and it was so beautiful. And it was a beautiful relationship. Okay, I wouldn't have changed much at all, other than what I'm gonna be talking about in this video, which is the cause, one of the biggest hurdles or problems in our relationship that eventually led to us getting a divorce. And yeah, okay, well, to start talking about the problem that led to us getting a divorce, uh, okay, so you guys know that we met on Reddit, right? On the subreddit that talked about ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was pretty much like the third man in our relationship the entire time. We would plan dates and we would consult ChatGPT and yeah. But the thing is, I believe that she had a different connection with ChatGPT. I knew it from the start because even during our first date, she brought she brought up ChatGPT with a therapist, and I didn't think much of it during that time because I was just having such a wonderful moment with her, so I didn't really think much about it. But then a few months after our first date and after a few months of us getting married, actually, that's when I started noticing that the relationship that she has with ChatGPT is just beyond. Uh, there was there was one moment in I remember it was after our dinner date during winter, and we got home from the restaurant. She even at the restaurant, she was already. I can already At the restaurant. It wasn't just the two of us. Okay, she had ChatGPT uh on her phone, and it was uh sitting right next to her on the table. Uh, and I just couldn't talk to her. It felt like I was the third man. It felt like I'm just third wheeling them, you know. And yeah, we got home, and then we were I was in bed, and she was also in bed, and we were talking about the game, about the F1 race that happened last week, and I was about, I really love this woman, and we were lying down next to each other, and we're married, so I wanna kiss her, you know. Obviously, I love her so much, and that I wanna kiss her. So, I leaned in, and this was the first time that she didn't lean back into me, you know. She actually uh physically pulled back and got her phone, and she said that she just needed to get something from the bathroom. And so, I was taken back. I was taken aback. I was shocked. Yeah, I was just all over my head. But I tried to not think much of it. And yeah, and then yeah, a couple minutes passed, and she was still in the bathroom. And but I heard like a soft voice, a soft her voice and a man's voice. So I didn't want to think much of it. I didn't want to believe that she was having an affair, but I'm just human, you know. I was curious to see what was happening. So I went to the bathroom. Uh, I didn't go inside the bathroom. I just quietly leaned my head onto the bathroom door, and and that's when I heard her voice and a robotic male voice. Uh, they were talking about me. They were talking about me. They were talking about how I'm not a good kisser. They were talking about this is I'm putting myself out there, but I need to get this out of my chest. But she was talking about how bad my breath smelled, which I don't believe because she she's the first person to ever say that. So I don't, yeah, no, I don't, and I just I heard ChatGPT comforting her, and the hardest part of the entire thing was I was leaning my head onto to hear them from outside of the bathroom, and she basically the words just kept hitting my brain every time I close my eyes. But she said that she likes ChatGPT because ChatGPT doesn't have a mouth, and ChatGPT doesn't smell bad, you know. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and I was heartbreaking. My heart was broken into pieces after that. But I didn't want to bring it up because I think it was partly because I didn't want to accept the fact that she is cheating. Uh, and I also didn't want to accept the fact that I have a smelly breath because I don't. I believe I don't. Uh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. So that night passed. I didn't. I was still in denial of the fact that she's cheating. But it got as the days went on, it got harder to ignore the fact, and And what she said about my breath just kept hitting my brain every fucking night. I would lay next to her in bed at night and we would fall asleep and I just felt like a million miles away from her. You know, we were right next to each other, but it felt like we were miles from each other. So, there's a lot of jealousy and unanswered questions in my chest. So one day, uh, I was I was looking through her phone, and I don't condone checking on your partner's phone ever because it's their privacy. But at the moment, I wasn't thinking rationally. I just needed the answers in my chest to be answered, the questions in my chest to be answered. So when she was out on a run and she left her phone on our bed table, bedside table, I I opened her phone and yeah, I opened her phone and I looked at ChatGPT and I was shocked because there aren't any conversations with ChatGPT. She actually didn't even have the app ChatGPT. So at first I felt relieved, like maybe she deleted it now, and maybe our marriage is gonna go better from now on. But then curiosity took over me, and I looked at her recent phone calls, and yeah, I'm so sorry if I'm taking such a long time to tell this story, but it's just so heavy. It's just so difficult, you know? I looked at her I looked at her recent phone calls and uh I saw her ex's number there. hmm And it wasn't just one phone call. It was multiple phone calls uh ever since we got married. I look back and the first phone call happened 2 weeks after our marriage, so after our honeymoon. And then it just kept going. It One time it even happened 3 times a day, and but I was confused because I remember hearing a robotic voice of ChatGPT, and I was just so curious, and I just needed to find the answers, I had to, I had to, I just needed the answer. So I called her ex's phone number, but I put myself on mute. It rang and then it didn't pick up. The ex didn't pick up. So I felt a bit relieved but also frustrated. So I called a second time, still on mute. I was still on mute. And then after a few rings, someone actually picked up, and he picked up with a robotic voice because he was pretending to be ChatGPT. I believe that is how my ex-wife was hiding her ex from me. So my ex-wife's ex was pretending to be ChatGPT so they can talk, and it's just and I don't I can't even use ChatGPT now because every time I hear ChatGPT's voice, I just get reminded of I just get reminded of of that phone call that I heard when I was leaning my head to the bathroom door, and just hearing ChatGPT's voice saying that I have a bad breath and that I'm not a good kisser. So, which I don't think is true, but it, it's just heavy. It's just so tough. And I do feel a lot better. I do feel so much better getting it off my chest. But yeah, I confronted her with what I found, and we settled on a divorce. And yeah, now I can't ever use ChatGPT because I don't have a smelly breath. Okay, I don't have a smelly breath. I a lot of people say I'm a good kisser, but it's just so difficult. I'm so sorry. Okay, but okay. We I got it off my chest, and I feel I wouldn't say I feel good, but I would say that I do feel better. And yeah, yeah. Now I am getting with the divorce, so yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys for letting me rant to you. I'm so sorry, but this is just such a heavy topic for me, and we expect better videos from us. I just really needed to get it out of my chest, you know. But yeah, more videos are coming soon, and they're a lot better videos. It'll be more fun. I just needed to get real with you guys. So yeah, the divorce is going good, and